If we have a look now at the statistics, we can see that, over the last 12 months, Sydney was a flat market at 0.2. Melbourne actually went down 15%. Now, I believe that's not necessarily a genuine correction. I do believe that's because a lot of the top-end property did not get sold, and the average came down more because the top-end part of the normal sales were not there. But you can see, importantly, even if you look at the quarterly, it slowed down. Most of that was 9.4% in September and 4.8% in March. It's now calmed down to only a 1.8 reduction in June, and I think it's going to bounce back very, very fast as that market gets resilience back from that migration going from minus growth to 130,000 plus. And that's what you're going to see is a massive quick turnaround on that negative growth. You see, Brisbane had a calming year, probably because it just jumped too much. You had 14% and 23% in the 2 prior years. Too much, too fast, couldn't be coped with. You had to have a bit of a calming influence just for this period. But you can see that was only in September and December when the height of the fear of interest rates was in play. And in March and June, we've had positive growth come back into that market. Adelaide 4.4 is a good year. Perth 5.6, the best out of all of them, as we predicted. Hobart went down 11%, again, on the back of 2 enormously profitable years. Darwin is a little bit stagnant, and Canberra has gone back a bit, largely, again, I think non-transactional activity there. But overall, in this last 2 quarters, the market has stabilised after just a psychological fear of interest rates, and now is experiencing the reality of that population growth and undersupply. If we have a look at the REI numbers, you can see there's that 5% for Sydney, but the average value of 1.5 million is still something that's hard to find. Now, you've got a situation where Melbourne is, say, 13% on REI numbers, 1% in the quarter. Brisbane slightly down. Everywhere's doing okay. And if you look at the long averages, 5, 10 and 15 years, only Darwin has got a negative growth in that 10-year box. Everything else has been quite consistently and moving. But Perth, I think, is going to be the stellar because it's had a very slow decade and is in line to recover and boost in that. So I think it's going to be the highest performer going forward. And again, if you look at the comparables now and from the average property price in Australia, which is officially 977, you've got a situation where Sydney is now 50% premium on the average. Now, we thought that would come back, and it went from 54 to 53, but it's re-kicked back to 57. Now, Melbourne is almost at average. It's finally gone under the average with that bad technical year, but I'm not worried about that overall. And you see Brisbane, the discount to the average is getting smaller and smaller as we predicted. Perth, it's getting smaller from 44, 48, 41. Adelaide is getting smaller. So these were the states we predicted over the last couple of years would start to get back towards the average and are doing so. But overall, the market is stable and strong.